Singapore doesn't look rich. It doesn't scream wealth the way Dubai does. It doesn't perform luxury like Monaco. There are no gold-plated hypercars parked outside nightclubs. No billionaires broadcasting their lives on rooftops. And yet, some of the most powerful money in the world is quietly moving here. Chinese tech founders, hedge fund managers from Hong Kong, crypto entrepreneurs, old Indonesian dynasties, Indian industrial families. They aren't coming for attention, they're coming for protection. And that's what makes this city fascinating. Because Singapore isn't selling lifestyle first. It's selling stability. In a world where governments change policies overnight, currencies fluctuate, and political tensions rise without warning, Singapore feels almost engineered for calm. It's clean, predictable, disciplined, and to billionaires, discipline is more attractive than drama. What's even more interesting, Singapore wasn't always a financial magnet. It had no oil, no natural resources, no vast land. So how did a small island with limited space become one of the most powerful wealth hubs on Earth? Why are ultra-rich families setting up private offices here instead of Europe? And what does Singapore offer that even Dubai or Monaco can't guarantee? This isn't a story about flashy luxury. This is a story about quiet power. And once you understand how this system works, you'll realize something surprising. The real luxury here isn't yachts. It's certainty. And in today's world, that might be the rarest asset of all. Before the penthouses, before the private bankers, before the billion-dollar family offices, there was structure. Singapore understood something most cities chase too late. Luxury means nothing without stability. This country built its reputation on discipline, strong rule of law, ruthless efficiency, zero tolerance for corruption, policies that don't swing wildly every election cycle. For the ultra-wealthy, that kind of predictability isn't boring. It's priceless. Think about it. If you're moving $500 million or $5 billion, you're not asking where the best nightlife is. You're asking, is my capital safe here? Will the rules change tomorrow? Can I trust the institutions? And Singapore answers those questions calmly. Its major banks like DBS Bank, OCBC Bank, and United Overseas Bank aren't just local lenders. They're global wealth managers, deeply regulated, internationally respected, and tightly supervised. Above them sits the steady hand of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, not just a central bank, but the architect of the entire financial ecosystem. And here's what makes it powerful. Singapore doesn't promise no rules. It promises clear rules. That difference matters. Some cities attract wealth with aggressive tax loopholes. Singapore attracts it with credibility, with governments, with a system that signals long-term thinking. I used to believe luxury cities were built on spectacle, skyline, nightlife, excess, but Singapore feels different. It feels engineered for control, engineered for order, engineered for endurance. And once stability is guaranteed, something interesting happens. The lifestyle follows, because when money feels safe, it starts to settle. And that's where the real transformation begins. Once stability is locked in, the real machinery begins. Because Singapore didn't just create a safe country. It built a system designed to attract and manage global wealth. Over the past few years, something remarkable has happened here. An explosion of family offices. Private investment structures set up by ultra-wealthy families to manage everything. Equities, venture capital, real estate, even art and philanthropy. Not public, not flashy, just controlled strategic capital management. Singapore made this process smooth. Tax incentives for structured funds, clear regulatory frameworks, political neutrality between East and West. In a world divided by tension, Singapore positions itself as Switzerland of Asia, but with sharper execution. Global financial giants noticed. Private banking powerhouses like UBS and Standard Chartered expanded aggressively here, strengthening Singapore's position as Asia's wealth command center. What's interesting is this. Singapore doesn't compete by being loud. It competes by being efficient. Opening a family office here isn't chaos. It's structured. Compliance is strict, but transparent. Capital flows are monitored. but respected. And for billionaires, that balance is everything. Too much regulation feels suffocating. Too little feels risky. Singapore found the middle ground. I sometimes think of it like this. Monaco protects old money traditions. Dubai attracts ambitious new money. But Singapore organizes money. It gives it a headquarters, and once the financial foundation is secured, the lifestyle layer becomes almost inevitable. Because wealth that feels structured doesn't just pass through, it plants roots. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because once the money is structured, once the family office is registered, once the assets are protected, the billionaires start asking a different question. Can I live here? And surprisingly, the answer is yes. But not in the way you expect. Singapore's luxury isn't loud. There are no desert supercar parades, no gold-plated hotel lobbies trying to impress influencers. Instead, you get quiet waterfront penthouses overlooking Marina Bay, ultra-private yacht berths at Sentosa Cove, members-only clubs where conversations matter more than outfits. The luxury here feels curated. High-end living spaces, Michelin-star dining without chaos, international schools ranked among the best in Asia, hospitals that rival Europe. It's the kind of environment where a billionaire can raise children without constant media noise. And that's rare, because in cities like Dubai, luxury performs. In Monaco, luxury integrates into daily life. Even iconic structures like Marina Bay Sands aren't just about glamour. They symbolize strategic ambition, a skyline designed not to impress tourists, but to signal permanence. What fascinates me personally is this. You don't feel billionaires walking around here. They're present, but discreet. They meet inside boardrooms, inside carefully structured investment discussions. The show is minimal. The substance is massive, and that's the pattern emerging in global wealth today. Flash is fading, control is rising, and Singapore seems perfectly aligned with that shift. Now let's talk about who actually moves the system. Because cities don't become wealth hubs by accident. They become hubs because powerful institutions quietly reinforce each other. At the top, you have the regulator, the steady architect, the monetary authority of Singapore. It doesn't just print currency, it designs financial confidence, strict compliance, clear fund structures, serious anti-money laundering enforcement. This isn't a playground for reckless capital. It's a fortress for strategic wealth. And then you have the local giants. DBS Bank, often called Asia's safest bank. OCBC Bank, deeply connected across Southeast Asia. United Overseas Bank, conservative, disciplined, expansion-focused. These aren't returns strengthen the system, it's controlled circulation. I'll be honest, this is the part most luxury documentaries ignore. The yachts and penthouses are surface level. The real dominance lies in systems that outlast individuals. And Singapore's system feels built not for today's billionaires, but for the next generation of them. But here's the part no one romanticizes. Precision has a price. Singapore's system is powerful, but it's not casual. You don't just move money here and disappear into anonymity. The compliance is real. The scrutiny is serious. The documentation is detailed. The monetary authority of Singapore doesn't tolerate shortcuts. And that's intentional, because in the last decade, global pressure on wealth transparency has intensified. From anti-money laundering crackdowns to stricter reporting frameworks, the world has changed. Singapore adapted fast. Family offices now face tighter criteria. Capital requirements increased. Substance requirements strengthened. This isn't the Wild West of wealth. It's a controlled ecosystem, and that's exactly why serious capital respects it. But let's be human for a second. Is Singapore perfect? Not exactly. Costs are rising. Prime real estate prices rival global capitals. Competition among private banks is intense, and lifestyle here, while refined, is structured. Singapore offers order. Some want spectacle. Singapore offers discretion. So the question becomes, what kind of wealth are you? Are you looking to be seen, or are you looking to build something that lasts quietly for 50 years? That's where Singapore separates itself. Because this city doesn't sell excitement. It sells durability. And in a volatile world, durability is becoming the ultimate luxury. So when people ask, why are billionaires moving to Singapore? The real answer isn't tax alone. It isn't skyline alone. It isn't lifestyle alone. It's alignment. Alignment between political stability and financial discipline, between private wealth and public order, between ambition and regulation. Singapore doesn't try to outshine cities like Dubai. It doesn't compete with the legacy aura of Monaco. Instead, it plays a longer game. It builds infrastructure that attracts capital. It builds systems that multiply capital. That's a powerful trilogy. From the skyline of Marina Bay, to the strategy rooms inside global banks, to the quiet offices of newly registered family funds, there's a silent shift happening. Wealth is becoming less performative, more strategic, more structured. And Singapore feels like the prototype of that evolution. Personally, what fascinates me most isn't how rich the city looks, it's how calm it feels while managing trillions. That calmness isn't accidental, it's engineered. And maybe that's the future of modern luxury. Not louder, not flashier, but smarter. Now I'm curious, would you choose spectacle or stability? If this deep dive gave you a new perspective on luxury and finance, subscribe for the next episode, because we're just getting started with how power really moves behind the scenes.